In this video, we're going to take a look at two topics. Our first topic is checking to see if an ordered pair is a solution to an inequality. So we remember that our ordered pair is xy, and we substitute those values into our inequality. So y becomes -3, and x becomes 4. And then we ask ourselves, is it true? So on the right-hand side, we're going to do order of operations. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. Is -3 greater than 7? The answer is no. So therefore, for -3 is not a solution. One more example for this type. Same process. We're going to substitute or replace -1 for x and replace y with -1. And then check to see if it's true. 2 times -1 is -2. -3 times -1 is +3. And finally, -2 plus 3 is 1. Is 1 less than 7? Yes. So in this case, -1 is a solution. Our last topic is writing an inequality given a graph. So we're kind of going to work backwards from what we did yesterday. So in order to write the inequality, we have to find the y-intercept and the slope. So you look at where the graph crosses the y-axis. So in our case, our y-intercept is -1. Slope is rise over run. So you want to find another point where it looks like it's going nicely through the coordinate. And then count your rise. We have a rise of 2 and a run of 3. So our slope is 2/3. Make sure if your line is rising, your slope is positive. And if your line is falling, your slope is negative. So we write our equation in y equals form, and we'll replace that with an inequality after we figure out what the inequality is. So substitute your slope in for m and your y-intercept in for b. To find the inequality, if it's greater than less than, that would be if it were a dotted line. We have a solid line, so we know it will be an or equal to. And in order to determine if it's greater than or less than, we pick a point on the side that's shaded and substitute it into our equation to figure out which way our inequality should go. So I am going to use the point 2, -2. So I'm going to substitute -2 in for y and 2 in for x. So we get -2. 2/3 times 2 is 4/3, or 1 1/3. So we get 1 1/3 minus 1, which is 1/3. Well, -2 doesn't equal 1/3, so now what I'm going to do is go back and replace my equal signs with the inequality that makes it true. Well, in this case, -2 is less than, and we talked about the or equal to because our line was solid instead of dotted. So our inequality for our graph is y is less than or equal to 2/3 x minus 1. Let's look at one more example. So again, start by finding the y-intercept. Our graph crosses the y-axis at 2. Our slope will be rise over run. So find another point where it crosses the coordinate nicely and count your rise over run. We had a rise of -4 and a run of 1. So we start by writing our y equals -4x plus 2 for our slope and our y-intercept. This time it is a dotted line, so we know it will be greater than or less than. There will be no or equal to. And then we find a point to substitute in for x and y. This time, I'm going to choose, that's supposed to be 0, 0, because 0, 0 is shaded, and that will be easiest to use. So we replace x and y with 0, 0. And then we replace our equal signs with the inequality that makes it true. 0 is less than 2. So our inequality this time is y is less than -4x plus 2. And here are your two U-try problems. Please come to class prepared to go over these so that we can do well on our assignment.